Canada's Chief Human Rights Commissioner has a message to the newly elected Trudeau government and the new minority parliament. There's an urgent need to reunite the country in the wake of the election and to tackle racism and intolerance. Joining me now is Canada's Chief Human Rights Commissioner, Marie-Claude Landry. Good to see you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming to speak with me.
Thank you for the invitation.
It's good to have you here. You issued a statement today in which you write, "This election has left Canada fractured and many Canadians feeling marginalized and divided." What do you mean?
I mean that, since in my position, I travel a lot to meet many stakeholders and many groups across Canada, and I felt that since 1 year and more, there is a lot of division in this country. The minority group are often targeted by other group, and it's time to talk about Islamophobia. It's time to talk about racism. It's time to talk about what's going on in this country, and going back to work and work on what we are good at. It's bring people together, and it's talk about how great is this country and how Canada will be prosper if we work all together and everyone feel that they belong in Canada.
Okay, what is it specifically you heard? I mean, give me examples of what it is you're talking about. Canadians have heard a lot of these issues in the campaign. So what did you hear that you think our political leaders need to address?
Well, I think that we heard about racism regarding Indigenous groups and community. We talk about we heard about racism about the Muslim woman. We heard about racism through the African Black descendant. And we need to address those situations. Canada will be prosper and will be in a healthy position if everyone feel that they belong and they can contribute to the economy and the prosperity of Canada.
So when you let me drill down on a couple of issues that were central in the campaign. So it's a Quebec issue, but it became a national issue. Bill 21, the law on laïcité, on secularism in Quebec that bans public servants from wearing religious symbols. You've heard what federal political leaders have had to say on this. So are you saying they haven't been strong enough in challenging this law in the province of Quebec?
I do not, and I will not comment on the government position and each leader position. That's not the point. As a national human rights institution, that is the Canadian Human Rights Commission, who is the national institution in Canada, we believe that every laws or things that target minority and are not treated fairly, people are discriminatory,
okay, so
and we need to stand beside people who experience those situations, and we need to address and take action.
Okay, is Bill 21, in your view, is that a discriminatory law? Is that something that the federal leaders have said they oppose it? The question is, what are they doing to oppose it? I mean, how much more should they be doing? But let's start there. Is it a discriminatory law?
Yeah, for the Canadian Human Rights Commission, a law who target a minority is a discriminatory law.
So that's a yes.
For the Canadian Human Rights Commission, our position is a law who target minority and do not treat fairly a small group of people is discriminatory.
Okay, so I'm trying to. So Bill 21, is that a in the view of the Human Rights Commission? That is a discriminatory law because largely it's minorities who are targeted by it.
In the view of the Canadian Human Rights Commission, any law, including Bill 21, would target minority and do not treat fairly a minority group is discriminatory.
Okay, so you want federal leaders and you want this new parliament to oppose any law like that. So we've heard them. I mean, in your letter, oppose any law in Canada that violates the human rights of minorities. So they're saying they oppose it. The question is, what is it? I mean, I guess my question for you is, are you seeing enough from federal leaders and they say they don't like Bill 21? Justin Trudeau saying if it gets to the Supreme Court, he's prepared to intervene. Jagmeet Singh said the same thing, but should they be more active at this point? Should they be joining a legal fight in the province of Quebec?
I don't think that it's for the Canadian Human Rights Commission to tell to government what they should do. What we are saying is, any leaders in this country, the political leaders and any leader in this country, should stand beside people who are not treated fairly. A country where we care about human rights and respect and diversity, and where people feel that they belong, notwithstanding their race, their believing, their sex orientation, create a country that is healthy and certainly prosperity.
So I'm assuming for you to issue this letter, I mean, you wouldn't issue the letter if you thought everything was fine. So,
sure.
So
sure, and we believe that it's an opportunity, you know, after the election, it's an opportunity for us to congratulate the new elected member and to say that let's get back to work. We have a great country, but certainly that we have many issues in this country, like the indigenous, the situation that the indigenous people or community are facing. We have seen an increase in hate and intolerance, an increase in hate crimes in this country, and we need to have a conversation about what's going on and to have a conversation about what can we do to address it. You know, it's not about being against each other. It's about how we can work all together to make people that they belong in this country.
Right. So you issue this statement in the wake of an election. There must be something you heard in the election, in the dialogue in the election, in the rhetoric of the political campaigns that made you think there's an issue and there's a problem. Is that the case? I mean,
it's not the case.
Okay.
It's not the case. It's not the first time that I issue a statement, and it was absolutely not appropriate for the Canadian Human Rights Commission to do any statement during an election. And we think that after the election, it's absolutely a nice opportunity for us to shine a light on priority that we think that the government should have in the next coming years, and the things that the government should work on. And we made a statement about that. This is a call for action. We believe that we have situations that need to be addressed, and we believe that those things that we mentioned in our statement should be priority for the government.
I just want to finish on this. There's been a lot of criticism, as you know, of the government's decision to appeal and apply for a stay in the Human Rights Tribunal's ruling ordering compensation for Indigenous children who've been removed from their families. What do you think of the government's decision to appeal this?
As the actual case is in front of the court, it's not for the Canadian Human Rights Commission to comment on the position of the government. The tribunal will hear it, and we'll see what's going to come.
Maybe you're not disappointed by the fact that this ruling's been made, and the government says it needs more time, that during the election campaign. I mean, do you take them at that statement, that they need more time to look at this, or do you think the case is pretty clear and they ought to be just agreeing with the findings?
You know, for us, we made a statement with things that there is many issues that need to be addressed regarding the Indigenous community. I traveled against recently in Labrador. I met with Innu Nation. I met with many community, and there is a lot of things that need to be addressed. The drinking water, the food insecurity, that housing, and there is a lot of things that we need to address, and it's complex. We need concrete action, and what we are doing is we call for concrete action to move forward. We need to work all together to address those issues in Canada, which is a great country, but we can do better.
All right. Marie-Claude Landry, thanks for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.